Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dan Schwartz. Thank you for attending. This is going to be a fun one. We usually do these streaming live into the Facebook group, Scaling Real Estate Investors, which I think you all either are a part of or you should be a part of. And Eric and I are going to just be going through some of the most common seller objections on this call. And really the hope here is that you guys are going to understand some patterns that can apply to all objections that will ultimately get you more signed contracts, higher profit per deal, and ultimately, less work to get to your desired goal, less conversations, more wins. And really it comes down to this skill set of overcoming objections for people that aren't like a desperately need to sell situation. Anybody can close those people. The skill set of getting the maybes and the got to think about it and got to talk to my wife's, all those people over the fence so you can get more contracts done, especially if there's real motivation here. We're not trying to take advantage of anybody. We're just helping people get out of their own way for something that is going to help them. And that's what this conversation is about. And Eric B is the master negotiator, sales ninja, and he's going to be leading the training. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see everybody on this call. This is great. This overcoming objections it's an ongoing. This is not a static conversation. This isn't something that you learn once and you're good to go. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to kind of pour in, and we've got some really kind of creative ways that we do this in our office and that we have a lot of success with in this. So as we get going here, I would love to just kind of get a chat going. Just say hi, open up the chat, say hi, give us a what's up, where you at in the world,
and if you can turn your cameras on too, that will be helpful as well, so that I feel like we're hanging out with you guys and not just like this isn't a pre-recorded webinar.
Yeah,
we're here to help.
Exactly. And so we want to see that. We want to see everybody. And we'd like to also hear what are your struggles with the with objections. Is that something you're really smooth on? Is that something that that maybe you could make some improvements to talk to us? Let us know what you think.
What are you finding when you're talking with sellers has been a sticking point as of late? Feel free to unmute and share. We can go from there.
How are you training it?
Mm-hmm.
Nate, what's up, buddy? Yeah.
What's up, Nate?
There you go.
Hey, guys.
Several markets. Loving it. Yeah. Anybody else? Where are you at? Salt Lake. I see you, Mike. There you go. That's awesome. Maryland. Yeah. There you go. Dan's neck of the world. That's great. So what how can we improve objections? What are we, how critical are objections? Like when you're on the phone, would we call this like a make or break type of situation? Oftentimes, how you handle those, how smooth you are about your objections when you're on the phone, or before I ask that question, I would love to know how many of you currently on this call are getting on the phone and working directly with sellers, either in person or on the phone. Just how many of you? Some of you might have a team member that's doing it. You got a lead manager and an acquisition manager, but I would imagine a lot of you on this call that you are personally interacting. So I'd just love to kind of get a little bit of a beat on that, if you don't mind, just so I know who we're talking to. Okay. A lot of the VA does a cold call, then you do the follow-ups. I see that. Okay. I've done it, not now. Okay. Yep. We have some of our friends in the Philippines here. We love it. Okay. Objections are real for everybody. And so one thing, that we do in our world here is we practice. Just to be clear, we practice a lot. Okay. And just because you're practicing doesn't mean it's the silver bullet either, right? Just to be clear, like bad practice equals bad results, good practice equals good results, right? So just to call that out for what it is. But we practice. And one thing that we do for objections specifically, every single week, our office, so anybody that's interacting with leads, so we have VAs on the front end, we call it on the dig, that are digging up and stirring up the leads, right? The dig. Then we have the set, then we have the spike, dig, set, spike, volleyball reference, you guys, right? On the dig, anybody that's on the dig and the set, we meet weekly and we talk about, part of their weekly assignments is to come up with objections. What are they hearing on the phones? What's going on? Every single week, that's part of I expect them to show up to those calls with like, yeah, this is what we're struggling with. Oh, this is what we're hearing on the phones. Okay. And because we do that every single week, we have an objection log. So every single week we're building our objection log, and it's not every single week we get new ones, but week over week, you'll hear a lot of the same ones, but every now and again, you'll get a new one and you add it to your list. Okay. And you add it and you refine it and you add it and you refine it. And based on all of that. So that's a pattern that we've been doing for years, just to be really clear. So if you're not doing that, that's like just such a really, really powerful way to just keep on top of it. And so it's not just like, Pat, what are you hearing on the phone? And then just doing a role play really quick to solve it, but not documenting it. That's how a lot of people will do this kind of quote unquote practice. It's better than nothing. Okay. Don't get me wrong. It's better than nothing. Okay. But oftentimes that doesn't stick. It's kind of like, oh, that was clever right there in the moment. Like, oh, that was good. But then 2 or 3 days later, when that objection organically happens in the phone call, are they remembering exactly that role play that you just did that one time a couple days ago or 3 days ago? And the answer is sometimes, right? Sometimes, but not all the time. And that's the challenge, right? So when you have an objection log, then they have a reference point. They can go look things up. They can go practice things, and everybody gets on the same page. So here's the other thing with objections, just to be really clear for everybody. It's not just practicing it, not just doing it, but it's being consistent with them. So you have a consistent answer for everything. So your answers aren't like darting all over the place. Oh, this guy handles objections
Off
really
the
well.
cuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then this person, they're weak at it, but they need to get better, or they answer it this way and this person answers it that way. That's a weakness in your business, right? Just to call that out. That's a weakness. What you want is consistent answers to the objections that you're hearing, and then practice those so they roll off your tongue, so that's what we recommend. That's what we do. And that's how these were created. Okay. So maybe some of you guys have seen this, maybe you haven't, but this is a fresh deck, guys. This is the fresh deck of flashcards. Cash cards, right? This isn't for the fourth graders upstairs. No, these are for us right here. The pros right here. And so this is some of the objections that we got, and we've created them into cash cards. So they're two-sided. Okay, the objection on one side and the answers on the other side. And this is just a result of us having a log, refining it, and going through this and practicing again and again. And so we wanted to create another tool, of how to just make it better. And so our team can practice together. Right? How many of you guys like this so far? Anybody? Give me a hand raise or something in the comments so I know that we're on the same track.
They love the cash cards. I love the cash cards.
Here they are. You're wasting my time. Did you see a for sale sign in my front yard, huh? Right? We all heard this stuff before. If you're playing the game, we know.
Yeah, so it would be awesome we don't need to go through every single one of these, but to unpack what is the underlying pattern that eliminates resistance in the seller's mind for each of these, because that's all an objection is. It's just like resistance to taking the next step. And there's a lot of nonverbal things as well as specific words that you can use to like eliminate resistance and get them back into a state of agreement. That's kind of what, objection handlers are all about. I would love to hear you kind of go through some of the most common ones, Eric, and like unpack the science of it, the tonality of it, so people can like walk away from this call like with a new superpower. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And here's the thing, guys, with what Dan just said or asked here is it comes down to confidence. Okay. Just to be really clear, it comes down to confidence. So if you're confident about how to handle the objection, that's the difference maker. And how do you get confident with it? So like when objections happen on the phone and you're not on top of how to handle it really well, or you're not practiced at that particular objection, or you don't know what to say, you get what? You get a little nervous. All of a sudden the answer starts darting, your tonality goes a little different, right? How many of you guys realize that that's what's happening, right? Whether it's you or your team. Okay, you get caught on, it's like you're getting punched in the face and you start, oh shit, and you're going backwards. Okay, you then oftentimes what happens is that you'll start, you get out of your flow, and so you're just in reactionary mode, and you start saying things that are just like you get off the phone, you're like, oh, I can't believe I said that. That was not what I usually would say, man. In a calm setting, I would have handled it just like this, no big deal. But man, when you get punched in the face, right? Plan A goes out the window. And that's a big challenge for people. I hear it all the time. I review calls for the clients that work with us directly. I listen to do call reviews with them, and I hear it all the time.
It's probably one of the biggest things that we notice is like from the get-go, very timid, not confident, and God forbid they throw an objection at you, like the timidness goes through the roof, and the seller is not going to want to work with you if you're not confident in your ability to buy their house.
Shows up in your tonality. Okay. And so confidence transfers. When you speak with a confident tonality, when you have clear answers and you're not just talking in circles, right, with your nervous energy, that confidence transfers. And when there's confidence in the conversation, they will follow. How many of you guys can just straight up agree with that? Confidence transfers and they will follow. Okay, that's the difference for people. And oftentimes it's not that you don't know the answer, it's that you're not practiced at it. You're not consistent with the answer. So it all then is if you're not standing on that sound foundation, it just crumbles. The call will crumble. Okay.
Yep. Good point.
So that's the biggest thing is how to do this and not just stumble. Like oftentimes when somebody wants too much for their house, right? Oh, they just want too much for their house. How many of you guys have heard that one? How many hundreds of times?
That's the 2023 objection of the year.
Right? They want too much for your house. Okay. Or are you going to lowball me? Okay. Just like get to the point. What's your offer? Right. How many of you guys have heard that one? Get to the point. What's your offer? Okay. If you stumble there and they're being direct, right? Is that going to serve you? Is it going to serve you if you stand into the corner and you just say a number? That's almost the worst case scenario that happens in those scenarios, right? Is that a number comes flying out of your mouth. And you're like, oh shit. Like, did I really say that? I mean, yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you did just price anchor way too high or way too low. Yeah, that happened. Okay. As opposed to being calm, collected, and saying, hey, wonderful. I appreciate you asking. And in order for us to get you an offer, we just need to get through a couple of these questions. And we have a detailed process, how we work with our clients. Tell me, how long have you been thinking about selling? Okay. It's
usually a question.
Yeah.
To eliminate objections, you asking a question.
Yep.
That's kind of the 80-20 of it, right?
Well, that's
framing up the context.
Set.
Yeah. The skill set of asking the right question and prying a little bit deeper, because a lot of the times the objection is not surface level, right?
Exactly right. And so to your point, it's the skill set and being very comfortable with answering a question with a question. Okay. That's when you get really good and confident, you're thinking above the game. Okay. And how you think above the game is by having this type of confidence and being practiced. So these are the things that we, and how we work with our clients and how we get better at the game that we're playing. Because to me, these are 20 to 50, maybe $100,000 conversations. Depending on what market and what type of deals you're doing, that's the answer. So we put that type of pressure on practicing and doing it. Okay. But not only just this, you can see here's the kind of like the answers to the test, if you will, of the different objections. And we got a ton of these. Ton. Okay.
You've got the common objections deck, and then you have like a full deck, right?
Oh man. Yeah, no, this is just the tip of the iceberg here. But this is the magic one. Okay. The magic one is where's the answer? What do you mean? Uh-oh. Where's the answer?
You internalize it on your own.
Guys, oh shit. That other deck had the answers. Where's the answers on this one? This is where the magic happens, guys. Okay, it's not just having the answers and being able to regurgitate them. That's level 1. That's how you play level 1. Okay, and we all got to play level 1 to get to level 2. So it's no shame in level 1. Okay, but the real magic happens when you answer it. You get good enough to put your words in here. Okay, that's the homework. That's how you start moving up the ladder. Okay, not just taking somebody else's words, the answers to the test, and regurgitating them, because oftentimes you'll struggle with the authenticity of that.
Yeah.
How many of you guys can agree with that?
It's like the same issue as reading a script verbatim versus using a script as a template for the phases of the conversation that you want to take a seller through, right?
Exactly.
That second piece can be nuanced with your own language. A script is just a starting point.
Starting point, guys. Okay, if it were just that easy to, like, we all know in this info space and this, how we get better working with coaches and all this stuff, like there's a bazillion different scripts out there. We all know that. Like, it's like, don't bullshit a bullshitter. I know. right? I've been building scripts for 20 years, right? And I've had my hands on just about everybody's script, right? When a new sales trainer comes into the game, I'm like, I'm on it. Okay. That's not the answer. If it were just that simple, it would just be buy that script and the game's over for you, right? But it's not like that. It's just not. Okay. Number one, the script has to be high quality. Number one, the script has to fit you. Number two, like you, your business, your style. But then you got to make it your own. Right? You got to make it your own. You got to put in the work to fill in the blank. Right? That's where the magic happens. And that's exactly why we built the two different decks. We have the deck with the answers, and then the more important deck, the blank one that you fill in yourself. How many guys can think that that's really important? Right? Give me a shout out in here.
It's huge.
Give me a shout out if you guys like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah. It's powerful. Mufasa, Nate, Adrian, Kim, they all get it. There's like way more to this deck too. There's like a appointment process piece. There's the scripting piece.
Oh,
Can you
baby.
just reiterate what you're willing to give people on this call versus what we might want to have a conversation with them first before we give them the full deck?
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you what. If you made it on this call, we appreciate the hell out of you. Number one, just thank you for your time, and it tells us a lot about you and your willingness to dive in on this topic, which is super important, which is where the results sit for your business. This is where revenue generating activity. That's what this is to me. Right. So I really appreciate everybody doing that. And a way that we're going to say thank you is, we're going to give you guys these decks. Okay. Now, we're not going to give you everything though. Right. We'll give you what you've seen so far, but to get the full deck, right, which Dan alluded to, there's a lot more to it than just what you guys have seen so far, but all of the work that we put in to the layers of the other sales process deck and everything else, jump on a call with us. Okay. It's worth it. It's worthy of a quick phone call with us, and we'll give it away. Okay. So if anybody's interested in getting better at these type of things within your business, sales is the answer. Just to be clear for everybody, like sales is the answer. You convert more deals, you make more money, and the problems start solving themselves in your business. Okay. There's an old cliche, sales solves all problems. Okay. Well, there's some truth behind it. So if you're not converting leads at the conversion rate that you feel like your potential allows, unlock it. Unlock that income. If you have people on your team that are not performing at the highest level that they could, unlock it. It's worthy of hundreds of thousands of dollars, period, to unlock good sales process. Having confidence to your sales process. It's so critically important. So if I could inspire anybody on this call to do one thing, it would be to lean into your sales process right now. It's more critical now than it has ever been in the history. There's more information out there. We're interacting with bots. Okay. The client's trust level is going down. Right. They're not as receptive to us as they have been in the past. What this means, or it's more competitive out there right now. What this means is that you need a sales advantage. You need to be able to handle the sales process at a higher level. Connect deeper with your clients to get better results. offer more solutions that match them.
You
With
notice that Eric said
confidence.
clients. Can you talk about that a little bit? That's a foundational thing to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something in our office that we're really, a stickler on, or we're strict about, is being aware of what transactional language looks like versus customer language, right? What's transactional language? Anybody? When I say like, what's transactional language? If you're talking with somebody, what's transactional language like? Anybody have an idea? Transactional language. Oh, I'm going to do a deal with somebody. You're a lead.
You're a lead. I want to buy.
Yep.
You're talking to the sales agent right now.
Yep. Sounding robotic. Yep. Not having that good conversation. Okay. What if it's like, hey, I'd love to do a deal with you. Deal for who? Deal. What do you mean deal? Okay. That's an example of transactional
People
language.
don't want to be someone else's deal and, or a lead for that matter.
Yeah. Right.
They're people.
If you're saying those types of words and you don't even quite realize, like, that's embedded in your head because that's the way you're thinking of it. I'm here to get a deal, right? So you're using
it's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. That's all transactional language. So we don't do that. We call everybody that we're talking to a client. They're a client, not a lead, not somebody. They're a client, right? We don't do transactions. Okay. We reach their goal. When we're working with clients, our goal is for them to reach their goal. So whatever that is, whether that's them selling traditionally to listing, taking our cash offer, renovating it, then selling it, whatever it is, as long as they're comfortable to get to where they need to go, that's how we treat our clients. Okay. So there's really important things, nuances that go through your sales process and how you support that. Okay. It's not just changing your language necessarily. For some of you, it might be just changing some language points. But for a lot of people, it's aligning your sales process in regards to this so that it's smooth and supports this type of language and customer care as you can. Because that customer care, I'm telling you now, it's so important now, but as we go further and further into the AI world, that personal connection is going to be more and more valuable. How many of you guys agree with that? How many of you guys see what's happening? Like we need to be paranoid of whether we're talking to a bot or not. How many of you guys have already felt that? Yeah. And that question is going to get more and more tricky. Straight up, ask me how I know. What we're playing with right now in regards to AI and lead generation in our business is shocking. It's straight shocking. Okay. And again, it's the way we're using it. It's all going to emphasize the human connection, human to human trust, human to human connection is going to be like, it's going to be finite into this one narrow lane. This has to really exist.
That lane is basically helping a seller make the decision and what option to choose, and like help work through any of the emotional issues that are preventing them from making that decision that you and them both know they need to make because they're going bankrupt, or they're about to have their house about to foreclose, or their mom has medical bills, or whatever it is. Your job as a human is to empathize, provide an option, and to get them over that fence that you both know is the right choice for them. And sometimes we see calls all the time where both of them know that this is would be a great opportunity for them to get cash, get to their goal, and it'd be a profitable deal for you too. But there's some head stuff working that they can't get through. There's some fear, there's some uncertainty. They know they want to do it, but they have some fear, and that's where objections live, in that world right there. And your job as an acquisitions person and as a service provider to your clients is to help them get to the other side of that confidently. And that's where the human to human, like a bot's not going to be able to do that anytime soon.
Yep. Or we're going to want to know whether that bot, whether we're talking to a bot or not. Right.
Yeah.
Because they're creeping into this world like shockingly well, which again, just emphasized the point, you know? So, yeah. So how do we get better? We know our scripts. We know our talking points. We use client language, client-centric language. And we show and demonstrate that we care about the health of the transaction. Okay. Helping people move forward, right? In any one direction. So people that know me really well, that have been, following my body of work for years or whatever else, know that I have a really, really polished sales process that leads to a net sheet that helps people make a decision. I've been doing that for years, closing hundreds of transactions this way. And it's all of this is to lead to that and to support that. That's how I get tremendous price reductions when needed, while building rapport.
Like that guy that bought you champagne after the deal closed, after the price reduction.
Yeah, with my whole family and their whole family. Okay, that's what it looks like when you do it really well, right? I don't fear price reductions. I don't plan on them. I'm not a bait and switch guy, but it's a necessary part of our game. How you do it matters. How you do it matters. I can't emphasize that enough. I've earned hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars through price reductions. Doing it well. Okay. And that's what all of this practice and setting it up from the very first conversation all the way through your whole sales process. When you do it really well, not only can you do it with efficiency, but you can do it with scale, and you can do it predictably. How many guys think that's super important? I mean, just in general, right? How many of you guys like just to lay that out head to toe? Whether you plan on closing as to build your buy and hold short-term rental portfolio, whether you're doing novations, whether you're doing the flips, the wholesales, whatever it is, it all needs a sales process to perform, right? That's why I just I went deep into sales training, deep into sales training, right? To accomplish all this. Right. So that's what we're here to share with you guys.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot of fundamental mindset going into this and how objection handling kind of falls into the script. The script leads to the point of decision, and the point of decision, typically, if they're not desperate and they're going to say yes to any offer, is going to always have some kind of objection. And that's where these cards, you can have them on your desk just to kind of be there for you, so you don't fumble your words or rely on slick talking to get you out of a situation that you know that there's motivation for them to sell. So you need to have the right phrasing and the confidence armed. And so the deck of cards is kind of a nice physical manifestation of that confidence that you can have. You're not always going to need them, right? Because it's just going to be ingrained in you. But I would love, and I'm sure everybody else would love, to go over some specific ones and kind of work through maybe different ways to say it so that they can understand how they could use their own words to say those objections, to type in the chat, y'all. What is an objection that you want Eric to eliminate, and talk about the mindset and philosophy of how to do that.
Yeah.
Or you can unmute yourself and share.
Yeah.
Any objections at all that you're like, yeah, I don't know how to get out of this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, I know. You get so many of these calls. I get it, for sure. I would also like to know, like, how would you use these cards? Would they be on your desk? Would you use them in your weekly training? How would you use these?
Yeah, I use them in my weekly training for my VAs.
Game on, right?
Yep. But yeah, that's Eric, that's an objection that I get, that I wanted to see what your thoughts on that were. I get so many of these calls.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say, number one, what type of calls? Right. So the question, you want to get a question right back at them. So just like, oh, no kidding. Well, what type of calls are you talking about? Okay. Well, you guys want to just buy my house or make me a low offer. Is that right? You're getting called all the time, man. Well, I'm sorry about that.
That's got to be annoying.
That's got to be really annoying. So connecting with them, relating with them. Okay. Man, hopefully this call is going to be a little bit different for you. I appreciate you taking the time. Right? Just connecting with them. Are you interested in selling your house? And that's the only reason why we're reaching out, is because we're reaching out to local homeowners and seeing if they ever would be interested in considering an offer. Okay. So number one, I want to remove the target off their back. Okay. The way we remove
disarm.
Disarm them. Okay. So the really simple and how you say it with tonality really matters, obviously. But just like I always, in my head, it's the NBD, no big deal. Like that's NBD is the tonality and things like, okay, well, man, we're just reaching out to local homeowners just because we're interested in picking up a new property. So, so all local homeowners, not just this person, not just the probate, not just the tax delinquent, not just the foreclosure, not just the, okay. So we're just reaching out. Okay. So it's that ability to stay calm, connect, sympathize, and then show respect. Man. Does that make sense? Okay. I know easier said than done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So then the next logical objection is, yeah, I'll take an offer. Like everything's for sale at the right price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. Right. So do you have so tell me, like, how long you've been thinking about that? Is that something that you're just talking about right now?
You don't go to price.
No.
That's something that we see happen all the time. People go right to price, like in the first 30 seconds of the call.
No. Hot potato the question. Answer a question with a question. Okay.
How long you been thinking about that?
Is that right? You've been thinking about that for a minute? Or is that something just because I called? Okay. Interesting. Well, if you're interested in accepting an offer or considering an offer, let's talk about that. Right? What's important to you about that? Yeah, because we're buying houses in that neighborhood. So that's something we could definitely, talk about, potentially be interested in. Tell me about your property. Then I go right into my script: property, motivation, price expectation. Then are we a good fit to work together? Okay, those are the chapters of my script. Okay?
Not too long on the property chapter, though.
Exactly right. Okay. In my script, in my chapters, I have like little percentage Like how much time percentage wise do you spend on each part? Okay. The property is 5%. It's a short, in comparison.
Yeah, but it's so cozy talking about beds and baths with people though.
It oftentimes turns into an interrogation style, whether you realize what's your square footage, what's your bed, bath, what year built, what's your lot size, what's your
Type of countertops.
yeah, right. It turns into this, you don't realize it, but all of a sudden it turned into an interrogation. Okay. But there's key questions that you want to ask, but you want to move through it pretty quickly. Why is that? Because you think they're speaking the straight truth? No, you guys, like, I'm not taking what they say as the gospel. Like, it's not like they might say their impression of what's good or what's bad is different than mine. So why dwell on it? Can I look up all the facts online? Can I type in their address right then and know the bedroom, bath count, lot size, all that? Yeah. So why would I interrogate somebody and lose rapport over shit that you should know? Because that's what they're thinking. Right? So we don't dwell on that. We go breeze right on through that. We ask questions, but we breeze through it with ease. Okay, with open-ended questions that allow them to tell the story, because that's what we want. We want the story of the property. Okay, then we spend the next section of the script is motivation. And that's where we spend 70% of the call is on their motivation. The questions about the motivation. And where they're going to go. Where are they headed to? Okay, we're at point A. Where's point B? What does that look like? How bad do they want it? How important is that? Okay, the people that are like, I don't care, I'll stay here forever. Make me a lotto ticket offer. That's what I call them, lotto ticket offers. Above market value. Like, is that really a client? No, if there's nowhere for them to go, no reason for them to sell whatsoever, except for that you're going to pay them more than the market would support, that's not a good client.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to get and spend the time around the people that have a direction.
So I have a situation.
I'm sorry. Go for it. Who was that?
Someone has a situation.
I heard that.
Yeah. So I'm in the vacant land space.
Nick. Yep.
Yeah. What's up, Nick?
So in my business, I'm going after larger pieces of property and convincing the property owners who don't have it for sale. They've owned it for more than 10 years, haven't thought of selling it, but should they decide to sell it with me, they have a huge tax advantage by deferring taxes over time. I do offer a lowball cash offer, but they're going to make a lot more if I give them their price over time. And so the initial motivation isn't there. So it's a lot of it's timing and opportunity. So it's a drip campaign. But when they are interested in selling, they are leaving the money in, and I am selling the property to someone with their financing. And so some of the issues that come up is trust, confidence. What happens if my buyer doesn't pay? And of course, I let them know how I'm in the deal, and I find out if they have any objection to me making more money on it, because I'm going to find another buyer. But in the meantime, I'm going to ensure that their payments are uninterrupted. But it's a lot of these people are older folks, and it takes a while to warm them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding to have to spend a lot of time in with them and build a relationship with them. So any suggestions on you can't rush this. These are old folks that have owned land forever. Any suggestions with working with people who aren't motivated unless you get them the right time? I found one of the motivations to sell is, for instance, we all know what happens to somebody who has won a lottery ticket and it ruined their lives. And within 3 years, they've lost it, or somebody inherits a whole lot of money, but now their heirs can get money parceled out over time and not destroy their life. So that seemed to have been a hot button. So, but working with people, older folks over time, how do you typically work with them?
Okay, great question. And the answer sits with understanding their challenge and their objection. What is in their world? Where are they going? Okay, you can stay put and life's going to look like X, or you could choose to sell and it could look like this. Is there any benefit to, A or B? And then going deeper into that, whether that's now or later. What are the pros and what are the cons of selling for you in particular? So that you get that out on the table so that you can then start addressing them, because everybody's going to have a little bit of a different concern, but it's the key is aligning with them, understanding their true goal, what's going to be best for them. Okay, so using phrases like, well, in a picture perfect scenario, hypotheticals. Okay, what would be if you're not terribly interested in selling, tell me why not. And what would be the picture perfect? Okay. And oftentimes it's simplifying their life, to be quite frank. I'm sure you probably hear that. Like, as the older you get, the more simple you want it, generally speaking. Okay. So it's aligning simplicity with their current life. Now, I think the key to this is not convincing anybody of anything. Okay. We're not there to wordsmith them into something that was not in their best interest, but it's asking questions and aligning with them to what their ideal scenario is. And they might not have understood how selling their property could get them to where they want to go. So it's our job to ask them the right questions to unlock that, where their motivation could lie, whether they even realized it or not, and showing them and connecting the dots to what it could look like through some creative options. Okay. Now, if then obviously if there's security questions like, what about the default or that, those have some mechanical answers, right? To build confidence. But usually by that stage, they like the direction. They're just not sure about, is there trouble with it? Right? So you're already ahead of the game. Okay. But it's not a pressure sales game. It's alignment and understanding where they want to go. If that makes sense. Right? There's human needs in sales. There's being aligned with the human need aspect of it. That's where you win. And the questions that you ask elicit that. So if you just stay on surface level and you're not able to get deeper into their true needs, then you're going to have surface layer sales. Okay. And that's a hard game to play. So you want to learn how to go deeper in your sales process and your sales questions to seek that alignment. I hope that makes sense. Right. We spent a lot of time on that. Okay.
That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
Money.
Yep.
Another Kim said, if you guys want to unpack specific situations like Nick did, then make a post and I'll call you guys up. Kim asked, what about my property is already listed with a realtor?
Congratulations. That's cool. How is that going for you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy with that so far? Are your goals getting met? Right? So not being resistant to that. You guys realize, like, that's number one. My first thing. Oh, cool. Congratulations.
Yeah.
How well are you happy with it? How well do you know this realtor? Okay. This can be a trap. Okay. Some people will try to, like, oh, well, so you're going to pay the commissions, and they'll try to like throw stones at their strategy so far. Well, yeah, I do want to sell my house that's listed. So you can go see it there. Like, okay, cool. That's great. But now I want to know how well they know the realtor, if they're happy with the process. How many of you guys have ever talked to somebody that has their house listed and they hate the realtor already? Huh? Yeah, that happens. Okay. And if that's the case, then okay, cool. There's a reason why we're talking. Okay. You don't like your realtor. You don't like the situation that's happening. How could we improve it? Or you might find out, no, I love my realtor. My realtor is actually my mom or my sister, my brother. You're like, oh, cool. Good thing I didn't throw any stones yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask me how I know. You start chucking stones too soon, next thing you know, you're throwing doubt on their family member that they have all the trust in. And then who's the slime ball? You. Right? So that's really it. So you got to, not make it weird. Okay, cool. Congratulations. That's awesome. How well do you know the realtor? Are you happy with the process so far? Are your goals getting met? Is there anything that I could do to help? Yeah, we're actively buying properties and we love working with realtors, quite frankly. Right? How many of you guys ever use that line? We love working with realtors. Is that a true statement? I sure hope it is. Okay. Realtors don't hurt my deals. Bad realtors will, but good realtors are like, I do a lot of business with good realtors. Right?
They control 92% of the market. So
you better be good at working with them. Okay. I love the unicorn agents. Yeah, they're far and few between. I get it. Right. But that's what being good at networking and understanding how to work with realtors really matters. Okay. Because if you're not when you're working with realtors, especially if you call somebody and their house is listed, then you get the agent's phone number, then you start talking with the agent about that particular transaction. Can we then start introducing the stacking commission? Hey, if you represent my offer, you can make what? Double. Oh, yeah. I can double your paycheck if we can do a deal together. If we can make this work, you can represent my offer. I'm not paying that commission. Who's paying that commission? The seller. So that it doesn't hurt me. Right? So I make friends with that realtor as best I can right away, because if we do a deal together, we can double their commission. And if I'm going to flip that property, could there be a third commission, a list back, we call it? All of a sudden you took like, a
throwaway deal.
Yeah. A potential conflict on the phone, and you spun it into, now I have a realtor contact that they're going to represent my offer, and we're going to see if we can put a deal together, and they're going to make more money. Do you think that agent would like to do more deals with you in the future? Hell yeah. Of course. Right? So that's a part of our game that we play. Right? So hence the statement, yeah, I love working with realtors. Okay. As long as they love working with me.
Yeah. Like whatever you guys throw at Eric, he's got stories and a lot of different angles that you can take to get on the other side of it with an agreement frame instead of a disagreement frame.
Yeah.
But a lot of the magic happens right at the end of the sales process where you make the offer and then they're just like, I don't know, I got to think about it. I gotta run this by the wife. These moments are the moments that make you. And I would love, just in the time that we have, Eric, you and I have a call at the top of the hour. We can go a little bit over, but can you walk people through the philosophy behind, I got to think about it?
Yeah. So it's going to go along, largely the same that we've been talking about. Answering a question with a question. Okay. I got to think about it. What's a question that you would ask? Yes.
What is it you need to think about?
Say that again, Pat?
What is it that you need to think about?
There you
Apparently,
go.
I've left something out.
There-
Tell me what it is and let me clarify it.
Yes, exactly. What has you at pause? What do you guys have to consider? Is there anything that I can do to help support that?
What I sometimes use is, well, let's think about it together. Because if you're going to think about it between the two of you, you're going to come up with questions and I'm the one who has the answers. So let's talk about it. Let's discuss it now.
There you go. If you're open for it, we can just talk about it right now. Right? I got time. We can sit and talk about it. Right? So yes, Pat, I love that's the answer is a question with a question, right? And getting deeper into it. When you do talk with your wife about it, what are some of the things that you guys are going to be talking about? What do you think she's going to say about X? What do you think so-and-so's biggest concern is going to be? Have you guys talked about it in the past? What came up then? Is there anything that I can do to help support your decision making? Whether it's resources, conversation, what is it? How can I help? How can I help support you guys? Does that make sense? Because the goal here is alignment, not to be on either side of the table. It's get on the same side of the table with them. Alignment, right?
Yeah.
So
Sometimes it's just because they're not certain. Well, there's different types of objections. There's like uncertainty-based objections where they don't understand the process. They don't understand the offer, which you can eliminate if the scripting and the way that you present the offer using Eric's net sheet is done correctly, then uncertainty can be avoided. Then there's the partner or spouse objections. And then there's like general, like just fear-based objections, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you got to ask the questions to dig it out.
Dig it out.
Process
and then
it.
Be their decision-making partner, not their enemy,
Yep. And that's a big part of like my whole sales process. Like when I'm working on delivering an offer, it's a full, I have an offer packet. Okay. And so every time I make an offer, we go through my offer packet, and my offer packet handles all of these different objections up front. So that they don't get stuck on it. Okay. And who the team is, who they're going to communicate with, the confidence behind that. Then the comps. I go through all the comps so they have confidence to their whole the process of the value. Then that leads to a net sheet that talks about 3 different net options. How much they're going to net if they on my cash offer, how much are they going to net on my if they were going to fix it up and sell it, how much they would net if they were just to list it as is. So it's a net comparison. And that just opens up the conversation in a very friendly way of like, what's best for you guys. And when you do that really genuinely, these types of concerns just flush out with confidence. Okay, there's Dan showing off the whole packet right there and how we do it. I do all of this on an iPad, you guys. So I go through my whole my offer packet on an iPad, and we sign contract on an iPad. My deal analyzer, the net sheet, the purchase and sale agreement, it's all done right there on the spot with my iPad. It's the slickest, most professional sales process you'd ever seen in real estate. I've been doing this 20 years and I haven't seen a better one yet. And I'm always asking. Okay. It's yeah. I mean, my iPad has been the best
moneymaker.
real estate tool I've ever used.
Yeah.
Ever used. And it's because of the leverage that and the speed of implementation that I'm able to do. Access my deal analyzer, adjust numbers, have my purchase and sale agreement already auto-populate, get it all done right then and there. Okay. The old school way with the paper.
Which you can still you can still do that.
Hey, no shame in that game. Close hundreds of transactions with the paperwork. Okay. It just gets better when you go digital. It just gets better. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm showing you inside of our program, which, by the way, if anyone's interested in learning more about this, you can just book one of those 15-minute calls where I'll give you access to the full cash cards deck that we've been talking about. And then just, see if you'd be a fit for our program. This isn't for everybody. It's mainly for folks that are actively scaling and have a budget to invest into lead gen and really diving into their sales process. But we don't talk just about sales process. We also help you with lead generation. Got a whole course here about outbound, inbound strategy, building authority. We've got stuff on lead management, all the way from how to set up your CRM tech, how to do deal analysis using Eric's tools, how to nurture prospects and follow up scientifically and systematically. A ton of stuff on team, hiring a leads manager, hiring acquisitions manager, hiring an executive assistant, and then a lot of just general leadership training that we provide in here, as well as, like Eric mentioned before, calls each week, including a call. We'll listen to your call recordings with sellers. So we'll hear these objection moments and help you improve them for the future. Those are every Wednesday we do those. Then we have sales calls on Tuesday, and then Thursday we have general coaching calls. So it's like you're kind of one call question away from getting help and really implementing a lot of these things at a high level. Because like Eric said, AI is kind of going to be commoditizing a lot of the lead gen stuff and making it more and more important for your sales process to be dialed in. And this sales process becomes the differentiator between you and all the other investors in your market. Yep. And if you don't kind of internalize that right now, then it's going to be too late in like 6 months from now, if you haven't built some of these processes. And so we're opening up the doors if anyone's interested. I typed in the chat, a link that you can book a call and have a quick 15-minute. Won't sell anything. I just kind of want to learn more about you. We'll give you the access to the cash cards and see if you'd be a good fit for our program. We also have, depending on your financial situation, we have different options for you as well. So happy to chat and just see how we can help.
Yeah. It's really got to be a good fit on both sides, meaning like this has got to be relevant to your business and that you're somebody that really wants to get better at sales and wants to get more leverage out of sales. That's what we concentrate on, and we go deep, as Dan was showing. It's not surface level. So, but yeah, I mean, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to hang out with us, and hopefully you got some golden nuggets. I know you're going to love the cash cards. They've been really, really well received, and frankly, they work really great. We've been using them in our office for many years, and it's been awesome. So I know everybody will benefit from it.
Yeah. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. This was a high value conversation. Everybody, give some love in the chat if you enjoyed this presentation. Eric brought it. There is no shortage of skill that has been presented just over thousands of sales appointments. Eric can really help you guys. Mike, appreciate you. Vanessa, it's really awesome to see you on here. Let's catch up outside of Zoom so we can just catch up, see what you got going on. Mufasa, thank you. I see we have a call scheduled. Nate, send me an email. John, appreciate you, man. Eric, you're the man. You crushed it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys, all of you. And let's cheers to better sales, and we'll get them.
Go get them. Here's my link if anyone wants to chat. See you guys.